Let's explore the top 10 horror games. Are you ready? Top 10.
Until Dawn is a 2015 interactive drama survival horror game developed by Supermassive Games and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Players assume control of 8 young adults who have to survive on Blackwood Mountain when their lives are threatened. The game features a butterfly effect system, in which players must make choices that may change the story. All major playable characters can survive or die, depending on the choices made. Players explore the environment from a third-person perspective and find clues that may help solve the mystery.
Let's take a look at top 9.
Silent Hill is a Japanese horror franchise centered on a series of survival horror video games created by Team Silent and published by Konami. The franchise is primarily set in Silent Hill, a fictional town in the U.S. state of Maine, which is plagued by supernatural events, the occult, and dreams manifested into physical form, often taking the shape of horrific environments and creatures stalking the protagonists.
Our top 8 is Fatal Frame.
The Fatal Frame series was inspired by Shibata's own spiritual experiences and popular Japanese horror films of the time. Their main goal was to make the most frightening game experience possible. Later installments have refined the gameplay mechanics while also adding more complex narrative elements. The series is recognized as one of the best-known horror video game franchises, and the second game in the series, Crimson Butterfly, is considered one of the scariest horror games ever made.
Sitting at number 7, The Evil Within is a 2014 survival horror game developed by Tango Gameworks and published by Bethesda Softworks. It was directed by Resident Evil series creator Shinji Mikami. The game centers on protagonist Sebastian Castellanos as he is pulled through a distorted world full of nightmarish locations and horrid creatures. Played in a third-person perspective, players battle disfigured nightmare-like enemies, including bosses, using guns and melee weapons, and progress through the levels, avoiding traps, using stealth, and finding collectibles. The Evil Within was released for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Windows, Xbox 360, and Xbox One in October 2014. Upon release, the game received generally positive reviews from critics, who praised the game's horror elements, gameplay and atmosphere, while criticism was directed at the game's story, characters, and technical issues. A sequel, The Evil Within 2, was released in October 2017. Then we have The Outlast at number 6. Hell is an experiment you can't survive in Outlast, a first-person survival horror game developed by veterans of some of the biggest game franchises in history. As investigative journalist Miles Upshur, explore Mount Massive Asylum and try to survive long enough to discover its terrible secret, if you dare. In the remote mountains of Colorado, horrors wait inside Mount Massive Asylum. A long-abandoned home for the mentally ill, recently reopened by the Research and Charity branch of the transnational Murkoff Corporation. The asylum has been operating in strict secrecy until now. Acting on a tip from an anonymous source, independent journalist Miles Upshur breaks into the facility, and what he discovers walks a terrifying line between science and religion, nature and something else entirely. Once inside, his only hope of escape lies with the terrible truth at the heart of Mount Massive. Outlast is a true survival horror experience which aims to show that the most terrifying monsters of all come from the human mind. Our top 5 is Dead Space. Dead Space is a science fiction horror franchise created by Glenn Schofield and owned by Electronic Arts. It was developed primarily by Visceral Games. The franchise's chronology is not presented in a linear format. Each installment in the Dead Space franchise is a continuation or addition to a continuing storyline, with sections of the storyline presented in prequels or sequels, sometimes presented in other media from the originating video game series, which includes 2 films and several comic books and novels. Next is Alan Wake 2 in top 4. Alan Wake 2 is a 2023 survival horror video game developed by Remedy Entertainment and published by Epic Games Publishing. The sequel to Alan Wake, 2010, the story follows best-selling novelist Alan Wake, who has been trapped in an alternate dimension for 13 years, as he attempts to escape by writing a horror story involving an FBI special agent named Saga Anderson. Alan Wake 2 was released for PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X on the 27th October 2023. The game's development and marketing budget reportedly was €70 million, making it one of the most expensive games to develop and one of the most expensive cultural products from Finland. Alan Wake 2 received generally positive reviews from critics and was nominated for multiple Game of the Year awards. It had sold over 2 million units by December 2024, making it Remedy's fastest-selling game. A downloadable content (DLC) expansion titled Night Springs was released on the 8th of June 2024, while a second expansion titled The Lake House was released on the 22nd October 2024. Close to being the top one, we have on top 3, Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Amnesia was met with a positive critical reception upon release. Reviewers consistently highlighted its innovative approach to survival horror, unique gameplay mechanics, and ability to evoke genuine fear, though some noted shortcomings in its narrative resolution and technical aspects. The game won a number of awards and garnered retrospective praise as one of the most influential games of the decade, and one of the best horror games of all time. It is also credited as contributing to the rise of popular Let's Play videos on the streaming platform YouTube. Resident Evil 1 Remake is our top 2. Capcom is riding pretty high right now, as far as the Resident Evil series is concerned. They have a hit new mainline entry starring arguably the most beloved long-term hero, and successfully introduced a newcomer, Grace. Fans are already looking forward to seeing what the future holds for both protagonists. This remake got one of the most impactful remakes ever made over 2 decades ago. And our top 1 is Silent Hill 2, the original. Silent Hill 2 is the second installment in the Silent Hill survival horror series and the first game of the series to be released for Sony PlayStation 2. The game was developed by Team Silent and published by Konami. It launched in North America on September 25, 2001. A more definitive version of the game, Silent Hill 2: Restless Dreams, was re-released with new features on the PlayStation 2 as a greatest hits title and ported to the Xbox and PC. It is known as Silent Hill 2: Saigo no Uta, the final song, in Japan, and in Europe, Silent Hill 2: Inner Fears on Xbox and Silent Hill 2: Director's Cut on PlayStation 2 and PC. It features an additional UFO ending, a new scenario called Born from a Wish, enhanced graphics and lighting effects, and exclusive to the PC version, the ability to save anywhere, swap weapons without opening the menu, and a movie gallery. That's it, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe and ring the notification bell if you'd like more of these videos.